Hi. Hello. It's me. You can see my face. Can't hide anything now. Can't be sitting back here behind a VTuber model and fucking picking my nose or some shit. Hello. Hi, everybody. Also, there's something that you can still do despite the fact that I am not a VTuber right now. That works. Now I actually have to wear pants. Well, no, because, you know, the camera's only up here, so I could still not be wearing pants. And if I don't want to show you guys that I'm not wearing, like, if I want to make it so that I can get up without showing that I'm not wearing pants, I can just do this. To blind all of you. You'll never see me again. Hi, Kita. How you doing, dude? But yeah, this is me. This is my fat. This is my ugly face. Right. Pants suck. Now I'm going back to my nap. Enjoy your nap. Thanks for dropping in. Hell yeah. I don't even have underwear on. I'm full free balling. I'm just sitting here with just a shirt on, just to pretend. But anyway, we are officially into, or we're officially about to start case 3 of Ace Attorney, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Adventure, I believe, is the one that I'm playing. So let's get into it. Our boyfriend's dead, so we gotta find a new one. The runaway room. What?
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage.
Oh!
As it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night.
I swear to fuck, if I am the person who is accused again, I'm gonna be so mad.
Inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself.
Oh.
However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner.
I don't know, this seems par for the course.
My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident,
I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude.
I ain't kill anybody.
The beginning
I've proven that twice now.
That impressive Japanese student and I were to play together.
Oh, animation. Oh, look at us.
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
Why do they already have English accents?
And look at all the steam locomotives.
I don't
It's
understand.
incredible.
No. People are really good at trying to frame me. Boat!
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
For a cost.
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
I mean, they're from Japan, though. Like, that's my only reason. Like, we just got to Great Britain.
I suppose you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome to the centre of the world. Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
Sure. The capital of the world. Oh. Oh, crunchy birds. Ah, Jesus. Okay. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course. But they're only built in a few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this is quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? Far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. It's certainly unfamiliar. And I think there's more to the difference than just construction materials. Oh no. We're in Ace Attorney and we're currently inside the room that's basically a giant clock. Oh no. What manner of stupidity are we gonna get into in this? Let's go! Oh wait, hold on. I forgot. Because I always forget. I forgot to post on Blue Sky. I gotta post on Blue Sky that I'm live and my face is there. There we go. I've posted on Blue Sky. On Blue Skidoo. You know, Kita, if you were anybody else, I would think that what you just did was an actual, like, a mistake. But I know you didn't mean to type clock. You didn't. That's not what you meant to type. You typed exactly what you wanted to type. Hey, look at that. Cock room. What is this place? No, it was 100% a typo. I don't believe you. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. This is the Lord Chief Justice Office, Naruhodo-san. It is in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have corrected it. I guess that's fair. Or you could have been trying to cover for yourself. We had instructions to report here at this time. If circumstances were different, we were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. No. So instead, we're here in a different capacity. As envoys to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message in an envoy's duty is done. So we have to return to Japan. If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Kazuma's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Cap, since when have I ever covered for myself? Yeah, and yep, you're right. That's fair. Yes, which you need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer, which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch. Ah, good morning. Sorry to keep you. He did it. He murdered everyone. He murdered everyone. I can feel it. Everyone in London is actually dead and just being currently channeled by a spirit medium, and they're walking around like they have no idea that they're dead. Oh. I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. Oh god, he's got a clock! It seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Oh, no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do. How fortunate. So, introductions. I am Mael Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Well, then you're in the right feeling, because apparently it is very true that if an elephant sees a mouse, they get scared. So he would run away. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't be a mouse. No, be a mouse in front of an elephant. It's fine. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Wow, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire. I got distracted by the birds. Ah, yes, thank you. Oh. London town. So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London? I'm trying to do a voice. Oh, help. I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. Ah, Scoob. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh? It isn't the mouse that scares the elephant, it's the sudden, unexpected movement. But the Mythbusters proved that that's not the case, because they did multiple tests. They had one where there was a mouse underneath, and they pulled up the thing, and the mouse ran, and then the elephant ran, backed off and shit as the mouse ran out. Then they did another one without the mouse there. They pulled the thing, it moved, and the elephant didn't give a shit. So it literally was the mouse that caused the problem. We had a wonderful view of some of London's streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say it, I am almost lost for words. Almost. I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water and gas. Even cables supply electricity. What time period are we in? We spearheaded every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. So this is a universe where it wasn't an American scientist who discovered electricity. It was London that did it? What in the Professor Layton is this? Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there, Susato-san. Everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor. This isn't London. Yes. There's much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition that we are hosting here in London. Great exhibition? Oh. Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. Oh, a fair. A state fair, one might say. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history. We will make Paris's World Fair, not the State Fair, World Fair. Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop. Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be. Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world. Even if you do say so yourself. The sun will never set on our great empire. No, you guys will be ruling the world for thousands of years to come. Nice. Perhaps it is fate that in these progressive... Yeah, it still works. Also, hi, Robbie. It's been a while, man. How you doing? Perhaps it is fate in these progressive times. We welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun. Up. Law student. Lord Chief Justice. I think you were expecting a student of law for this study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. A Mr. Kazuma Asugi, if my memory serves. That's right. The British government has already been telegraphed a full report of the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship, bound for our shores. That's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived. Telegraphs. My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you're honored this appointment specifically to inform me this. Oh, and you honored this appointment specifically to inform me of this news. Just having brunch. What you having for brunch? Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report of the sad news in person. And they tell me you Japanese are a people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that's true. And it is with some regret that I must inform you that the death of your young Laura means this... He is handsome, but don't. The death of this young Laura means the study tour arranged can no longer proceed. If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart. Well, what do you have to say, madam? It is about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal. Would he? Well, Mr. Naruhodo, this is it, and a moment of truth. I want to be a lawyer. Can I please be a lawyer in London town? Please? Thing is, Lord Justice, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead. Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead, but without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done. A sandwich with hybrid turkey, sausage, eggs, and avocado. Hybrid turkey sausage? What's a hybrid turkey sausage? What does that mean? I don't understand. Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country. And that was Mr. Asugi. At least that's what I've been led to understand. A turkey that's half electric. Yup. Yeah. Careful, it might explode. Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo! I could ruin things if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? If there was someone else here from Japan who could be described as a lawyer, it's... Do I make jokes? I mean... Hold on. 50-50 pork and turkey, but hybrid sounds more like a mystery meat than I like it. Fair enough. It definitely sounds like a mystery meat. It's Mr. Sato! It could only be... Yes, Mr. Sato! An unusual introduction, but I presume you mean this charming lady beside you. You're a lawyer, are you? Look, she's giving me. After all the days of hard work she put into helping me study, I can't let her down now. I think that's quite enough joking, don't you, Lord Strongheart? The real answer is, it's me. I can do it. Is that so? I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but... No qualifications, you say? And yet you still claim to be a lawyer. I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. And I had Cosmo to help me. And I was the accused. Glossing over the details. Hey, ref. So we wrote an entire fanfic of what happens if you pick Susato. I mean, I think she would make a good lawyer. She's more qualified? Yeah. How did that happen? Thank you for pointing that out for me, Robbie. I don't understand how my mic muted. I don't know what I hit. Weird. At least it was for a very brief moment. Just one chance. That's all I'm asking for. Please. This is such a good case. Also introduces the best non-Susato character. 31 seconds. Sorry? Your opening statement there, Mr. Nadahodo, was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as the lawyer. Oh, thanks! So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Oh. Also a great mechanic. Huh? But let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yes. You say you intend to do everything Mr. Asogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? Well, yes, that's my intention. I see. Am I imagining things, or did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden? Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to becoming a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you. Really? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So, what form will the test take exactly? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo. What do you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Well, defending people, of course. Well said. So, let's have you defend someone. Huh? Oh no, he's changing his time. The timing is perfect. In fact, there is an apt trial about to begin later today. What? No advocate has been appointed for the defense as of yet, so this will be welcome news. Today? Ah, Ace Attorney. You can't just have, like, 3 days to investigate. It's gotta be day one. Straight away? If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. What could be simpler? How do I get myself into these situations? Well, could I ask what sort of trial it is, Lord Strongheart? The best prosecutor? I've heard that he's racist. Like, I've heard that he's great, but he's also racist. Yes, a good question. I remember. Murder. It's a murder trial. A murder? Extremely simple case, I understand. You can't really lose. Or you really can't lose. That's easy to say. And I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment. Other than the racism, he's great. Capital punishment? He'll be put to death? Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably, you read that much on your short, C-based introduction to British law. We can't possibly agree to such a test. We'd be toying with a man's life. I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I have decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose. So the defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, he'll be hanged. Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriots, Mr. Asogi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. He's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. How shortly? I need an answer from you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? I'll do it! Alright then. If I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... I can't do it. I can't get the words out. 15 seconds. Your decision making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So, is it as I suspect? It's as I suspected, is it? Sorry. You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. But I said I'd do it. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation is over. Yes, Lord Strongheart. Thank you for your offering me a chance. No! I wear glasses. It's almost like I put that onto my VTuber character for a reason. Hey, Fury. I'm sorry, Mr. Sato. But what could I do? It's alright. I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. But resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madam? I think what Mr. Sato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial is so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this as this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his client in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. Ryunosuke coming in with the honor. Wait, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, was there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said that. I was quite serious when in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without a defense, and if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. You will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down. But that's awful! But that is the truth. Why does it have to be like this? Please don't expect an answer to every question. But I want an answer to every question. The cold, hard truth of the matter is that there is only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you. Am I really his only hope? So, what do you say now, madam? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? You said that it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend the man in these circumstances. And I agree. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve. Oh. Time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves. He jumped off the side. He's gone. The Old Bailey. And if we're going to do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once. What to do? Mr. Sato, can I ask you something? Careful. From this position, I can perform a Susato takedown in an instant. I know. Mr. Naruhodo, you heard Lord Strongheart. The trial starts imminently. I can't read, guys. I don't know why you're watching me read badly. If I need to throw you, I will. You know, you could just say, I think we should hurry to the courtroom. If you need to ask me anything, you'd better wait until we're at the Old Bailey. Okay. But what if I want to go anyway? Wait. Chair. Mr. Sato, can I just ask you something? Okay. Alright. I wanted to examine the big clock room. But you won't let me. Why not? Oh. That one's got a mustache. Oh, thank goodness. We're here in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were gonna rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Herlock Sholmes stories, and it works quite perfectly. I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were gonna die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Is my Admiral coat in the dry cleaners? Yeah, they're fixing it. They're taking off the word justice and putting my Jolly Roger on it. I read that. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose that's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The clerk said the defendant should be here. There's no sign of him at all. So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait in is grand. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm feeling tense, that's all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court of Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever's about to be sentenced. It feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. No! Don't do it! As whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment. Top of the morning to you, madam, sir. Ah! He's so tiny. Oh no! I have to defend a little man. If he's Irish, don't call him a leprechaun. It'd be mean. What are you doing following me here? Things are fair desperate, are they? He's very Irish. Sorry? Would you look at those expressionless faces? From the east, are you? We're from Japan. Yes. Japan, is it? Right. Say no more. So, how much do you need? No. We're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been here myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat. Barely a penny to your name. And all white in strange, faraway land. All wild in a strange, faraway land. He's very rich and he couldn't afford a lawyer. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no. 'Tis grand, 'tis grand! Let me start by giving you 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. Huh? 1,000 guineas? Please, Musasa, you don't need to shout. But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area in Tokyo. What? 'Tis nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather any rainy day, you see. I have enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. Could that much rain even fall in one day? Well, it is England. Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. That hit me in the eye. Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to you no strings attached. I'll be waiting, wanting you to do something for me. Oh? To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. The trial's about to begin, you see. It is for my good self here. I'll be on the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is, don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me, nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial's going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. How bad is my Irish accent? I'm pretty sure it's shit. So it was true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean that you're the defendant in this trial? Bluster and blazes, do yous not know who I am? Me? One of London's biggest names? We did just get here. No, sorry. We only just arrived in the city, you see. I see. I suppose it ain't altogether impossible. Pretty bad? Awesome. Well, just next to Hyde Park, there's the center of London is another beautiful park. Sorry, a park? What? It is called McGilded Park. Full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated it to the city, so I did. An entire park in central London? We already know that this game is a fantasy because we're here defending a guy who's rich, apparently rich as hell, and therefore he should be able to afford whatever lawyers he needs in order to get off of his sentence. And yet here we are. City of Smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city, and it's queer old people. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary. But now they have the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, McGuinness McGilded. What's the matter with the London police, I ask you? Alright, don't pass out. Get this boy a pint of Guinness. Mr. Naruhodo? Better than I could do an English accent. I have an easier time with British. Yeah? It's not the money, it's the prosecutor. Ah. Perhaps it would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGilden, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. Ah, what was I after saying, you daft idiot? What? I'd give you 1,000 guinea to stand up next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry? I know what you're thinking. This Chancellor of a fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyers in all of England? Hi, yes, I was thinking that. But I kind of got the answer already, apparently. Because he did it! That's the only explanation! Well... No? Not at all! Although, it is a little strange, to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean. Ah, that would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry? Did he just say Reaper? A Shinigami? Aye, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Barak von Zeeks. He is the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? When von Zeeks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. Where have we heard that one before? What? So it's reached a desperate situation, where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Barak von Zeeks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Talented isn't the word you'd be looking for, madam. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? The defendant is summoned! And his counsel! He's lost before something worse happens. Don't tell me anymore. Stop it! Please make your way to the courtroom. The trial will begin. His counsel. And that would be me. Oh, it's time. Well then, fella, don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you showed your face here. I'd made up my mind, so I had. Sorry? I decided I'd have to defend myself in there. How would that have worked? But then you made your appearance. A law student, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, and I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please. His fingers are clipping into his hat. I literally know nothing about the case, or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing that I know is that I can't just turn my back on him. If you do, he's gonna hit you with his shillelagh. Mr. Naruhodo? The man has no one. Well, I'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend him. Hey, on the bright side, at least we're not in Korean, where if you stand with the accused, or at least, you know, until the end of the game, you will also be murdered. Yes, something that Cosmo would never have allowed to happen. Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand. I'll be right there. Where's my sword? Where is it? Where'd they put it? It's happening, then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Yeah. Oh no! I remember this thing. I've only seen a little bit of it, but I know that thing actually tips. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! No single judge, huh? So this is the highest court in Great Britain. The Old Bailey. Centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? And it's so different to the Supreme Court in Japan. Feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes the words redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocent is always a solemn affair. Oh, hey, we do have his sword. Good. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, what? Your eyes look like they're ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Oh, there is a judge. Ah! Vampire! Ah! Santa Claus! In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsels of the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared. It must be the Reaper of the Bailey. It really does look like he's fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Counsel to for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English? Well, thanks for asking. Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. And he asked if the defense was ready. I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. He is not a vampire. I don't believe you. Those eyes please me. Nipponese. I feel gross just saying that. That's the normal judge just in disguise. No, they called in Santa to be the judge today. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. It's not really racist, it's not, but it also just doesn't feel right. Like, you could just call him Japanese instead of Nipponese. I don't know. Cold shiver ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes. Now, Mr. McGilded. Yes, my lord. You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner? Japanese is just Japanese. I know, it just feels weird. I'm just what I'm saying. That's it. That's all it is to it. As I always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young. Even if the fella is a student from some little island off in the Far East. We are on an island. Great Britain is also an island. The British Empire is not just... Yeah, whatever. Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers of yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance? I'd like to think that the act of chivalry to do to the great British Empire proud. Listen to Mr. McGilded. What a fine gentleman London has in him. Did you hear that he donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Mother, please, may we go and play in McGilded Park? It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. That's definitely welcome news. He certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Me too. Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly to remind you to shut the fuck up. That you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? There's an actual jury? Wait. What Ace Attorney game am I playing again? What's this jury thing going on? I don't like Mr. Knife over there. Yes, my lord. If the task is to send rotters to the gallows where they belong, I am more than ready. At the manor, his lordship always said that we should dispose of the rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Any criminals here will soon be wishing they would never set eyes on me. That last one was actually just the court briner. Or cinematographer. I feel a chill. It's peaking. Oh, don't mind me, dearies. I'm just getting on with my knitting. I must finish these mitts for my grandson. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Those people are... the jury, yes. That's something we don't have in Japan yet. And never will. Even after they say that you were gonna have them, they just kind of got rid of it. That's right. I only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. Oh boy. The judge passed his sentence according to the law, but the jurors determined guilt based on common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. How exactly do the jurors give their verdict? That I don't know, but I'm sure it'll become clear as the trial progresses. Yes. That's Japanifornia, not Japan. Eat your sushi, Apollo. Holds burger up with chopsticks. Prosecutor Van Zieks. My lord. It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounced your fame. I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than in fame, I'd say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in its capacity. He's not a vampire, huh? So, what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware? I leave that to your imagination, my lord. It's your hamburgers, Apollo. So, the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose today of all days to come back? Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo. As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this case is of overwhelming simplicity. I must be the only ones here who aren't aware. Bro just needs cash. You know, his coffers were running low. He needed some extra money. Just like I'm gonna need some more drink here in a minute. The incident took place in late evening. 3 days passed. The hour was some minutes after 10. Oh no! He looks so sad! The victim was a maker of building bricks, known to the community as Thrice Fried Mason. What's his actual name? Sorry, Thrice? He was a very accomplished craftsman, and the bricks he made were said to be almost indestructible. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the night. An omnibus? Was that what that was? Oh, he's had plenty to drink. Too much. Got a dagger in him. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Believed? I thought you guys did fucking coronary reports here. Here's the autopsy report from the investigation's medical officer in Scotland Yard. Thank you, counsel. I shall accept this and the photograph as evidence. Autopsy and photograph added to report. Prepared by gives the cause of death as the internal hemorrhaging as a result of a single stab wound to the abdomen. Photograph of the dead man. Did that say crooked hat? Was he the crooked man with his crooked smile and his crooked hat? Hold on. I want to read the report. My armband! I inherited from Cosmo. Where's the defense? My armband! Let me show it to you. Here. A report prepared by the Scotland Yard coroner gives the cause of death. Can I examine? Oh, wrong button. Well, alright. Yep. That's a stab wound, alright. Also, he's missing a button. I'm sure that doesn't mean anything. Occupation brickmaster or brickmaker stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife whilst journeying in an omnibus. Died due to internal hemorrhaging resulting from the trauma. The OG badge. It's like what you find in like a Japanese high schooler when they've been made like class president or something. And one further item of evidence. Prosecution wishes to submit these as well. And these are... Good lord! Is that blood, counsel? Oh! I just can't handle blood! I think I'm going to faint! Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGill's gloves had blood on them? That's a wide bench we got there. Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well. The defendant's leather gloves have been entered into the court record. I love how rather than physical abuse, he has logical arguments. He's definitely more Edgeworth than he is Von Karma. We'll say that. We'll put it that way. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day in London. Well, nothing will come from grumbling now. Now, by the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Huh. Pity. If only he had been left-handed. I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. Yeah! Yeah. So is that it? Is that all we got from the blood? Or is that all we got from the gloves? Nothing else? Alright. Just a question of whether he's left or right-handed. How did I get into this? Well, you see, there are many things that caused you to be here today. I backed into a corner before I even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside the vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaster, Mr. Mason. He's a brickmaster and his name is Mason. Fuck! God damn it! Fuck you! The other was the accused, Magnus McGilded. I think the... Oh no! Do we have to accuse members of the jury? That'd be really funny and really stupid. So yes, I think that is what's gonna happen. Don't tell me. Well, rather damning circumstances, to say the least. Defendant, what do you say? Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGilded. To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. But whenever I am in a carriage, I take with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it. That may happen. I would be surprised if it doesn't happen. Also, need to clear my ears. Are you claiming you'd to have been asleep? 'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord. My lord Lytton? So it is. And when I opened my eyes again, 'tis a desperate sight before me. The body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before in my life. Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I had reached out to give the man a hand. So the blood got on the gloves then after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, that statement of the driver is only the beginning. What? That's not all of it? There were multiple witnesses, but you said there were only 2 people on the omnibus. To the precise moment that was at which the brickmaster was fatally stabbed. She is the court stenographer. What's she doing on jury duty? Order! 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 When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage. And there were witnesses to the crime. How? This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime. 2 inside and 2 on top. And there were 2 on top. A couple that were hanging onto the bottom. One was riding the horse that was drawing the double-decker bus carriage. And there were 3 people who were skydiving at the time that witnessed the murder. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from these witnesses first of all. Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses. Oh, we're doing all of them at once. Pulls down half the jury. Oh, no. Okay, there were 3 witnesses. Witnesses, your names and occupations. My name is... Well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus in the East End. So much. I do love multiple witness testimony. Like, I think this is the most fun. Bruce Fairplay. I am a banker in the city. My name's First. Lady First. I make hats for gents. What? But his name is Lady First. Why isn't he a millinery? Why doesn't he make ladies' hats? Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witnessed the aforementioned incident. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Quite right. Yes, sir. That's right, sir. I can't wait for his hat to explode when he gets pointed out. Very well, then. Let's proceed to your formal testimony, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. I will not hear perjury in my courtroom. This is not Japanifornia. The witnesses... It was the last bus in the evening, so I had few customers. I remember it well. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then, out of the blue, the accused was just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. I'm sorry, I just had a thought about Mr. Ladies First here. I wonder if it's Miss Ladies First. Anyway. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and I saw it too. That was a short testimony. Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes, but they weren't in the bus. I'd like to ask a question, if I may. Yes, counsel? Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it? As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes. Well, in that case... Hey, he did his slam and it works! Yay! How could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen it. Seen the inside of the moving carriage. I mean, a window doesn't mean... The window would have to encompass the entire carriage. I'm with him on this. I understand why they're going to be like, oh, there's windows. But it's like, that doesn't really equate to getting a perfect sight of the scene. Whatever. I'd read that civilization in the Eastern Islands nation was a good century behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant of our omnibuses? Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus? Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning. No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is. What? What do you mean the actual scene? How? The carriage is destined to be moved after all. Presumably, you understand that much. Yes. The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today. In this very building. Wheel it in, bailiff! Here? What? The entire carriage? Bailiff! Bring forth the stricken omnibus! I love this game. I love this game. I love it. I love this game. This better be an all-glass omnibus. It's not. And the windows are tinted. How did they see shit? That's an omnibus. The omnibus. I can't believe that they could bring something this so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing. Or large. As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. I might have to... Oh. Wait, why do we have a sketch? 4 passengers seated inside of an enclosed cabin, and another 4 on the top deck. Is this a window? Is that what this is? Is this where they're claiming that they saw that the victim was stabbed? So these 2 were sitting on top, and therefore we were lied to about the fact that there was only 2 people on the omnibus at the time? Because that means that there were 4 people on the omnibus at the time. Doesn't matter whether they were on top or inside, they're still on the omnibus. Another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best view of the city architecture in sight is to be had from the top of the omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests, they said 2 inside. That there is a skylight in the roof allowing the view of the interior from the seats above. I love looking at other people's shoes. Ah, a skylight. Oh! The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the roof seats on the omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight. That's a very small skylight. Comparatively. That makes perfect sense. Does it? Hello, counsel. This is a first. In all of my years behind the bench, I had never experienced a crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom. He's wearing a wig! Your Honor, your wig! Fix it! We can see your baldness. You're gonna bring in Blackwell. Anyway, there are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Fixes his wig. That's good. That's good. Very well, I see no reason why not. The omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence. The omnibus has been entered. Okay, there's a roof. I can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence? Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I want to look at it. And then I'm going to go get, take a piss and get a drink. Because I gotta. Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we? It's the scene of a murder. It's horrible. So we got the blood from the incident. That's the blood that's soaked into the seat and the victims, obviously. Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Would you really stab somebody in full view of other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was dark. Hey, it him. It me. That's me. Hi, Short. And there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about. The angle for the skylight doesn't exactly give you a great view. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yeah, it's quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck. I don't think so. It doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description. I love the thought of we just went, hey, we want to go inside the carriage for a minute. Let's just hold proceedings. And everybody's like, okay. And we're just sitting here fucking around. They're just watching essentially two kids. I know Ryunosuke is probably, I think Ryunosuke is like 24, something like that. He was about the same age as Kazuma, and a 16-year-old, and they're just rummaging around inside of like an English cabin for the first time. Like, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's that? So I suppose it can't be opened from inside the cabin at least. Yeah. Is that for the fare? Burns the carriage. No, I'm inside here. Please, no. That's the poster for the Great Exhibition. That's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition. Oh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. He's like 20, 22. Yeah, something like that. He was young. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event. Do you have or play Power World? No, and I have no interest to whatsoever, because frankly the premise is just kind of dumb to me. It's just another survival game, but now you can shoot colorful animals. This seat looks reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit on it. It's just sitting there. He's bouncing on the chair. Oh. It's not that soft. It's kind of stiff. Nobody make a comment. And only just wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side. Really? Of course, an English gentleman would be dressed in such finery. It'd be quite impossible for him to climb up to the roof deck, so... Oh, gentlewoman. So she would have to be seated here. I have a panda that shoots a grenade launcher at my enemies, Big. Yep, and I just don't care. I'm sorry. Pokemon with guns but survival just isn't. It's not my bag. I don't give a shit about it. A woman in a kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? And they still are. What's this? The seat has a handle, it seems. Oh, ho, ho! I'm sorry, Charlotte. It's not my bag. I'm not mad at anybody who enjoys it. You all can enjoy it as much as you want. It's not for me. This looks like this looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running. Feeding tubs, tools to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems. There doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to stow their luggage, that's for sure. Well, I don't imagine that it would be very convenient for that purpose anyway. Anything else? Nothing else. Nothing else. Okay, so the windows are see-through. They're just tinted for regular purposes. Have you seen enough? Let's go back outside then. How polite of us to close the door. So this is the roof deck for the omnibus. You must have a wonderful view of London streets from here. So people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with cold air rushing past them, and they have to pay money to do so. Ugh, I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late. Jesus. I've certainly seen inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp on the enclosed cabin. So I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. And that's not good for us. Yeah, but it looks like the angle's weird. So was that there in the Japanese? I can't find anything out of place. No? You don't see it? Okay. Let's see. Got some lamps. Is there anything else to look at on here? So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. Blah, blah, blah. Pay money, burr. Yep, okay. So that's the same thing. Alright, there isn't really anything major to go off of. Alright, before we continue, I'm going to take a quick break to go to the bathroom and get something to drink. So let me get you guys some pissing music while I make a quick run. I'll be right back.
Listen to me speak, but just say what you want. What words will you keep? The ones that cause us harm. You assume the worst, but that is yet to come. Because you caused it first, and now we've come undone. Caught up in trying to find a problem. Why do we lose our minds, sending us before we try? Fed up with trying to fix our problems. Why do we lose our minds, sending us before we try? Why do we lose our minds?
I was muted on my normal microphone. I'm sorry. He was being racist again. Bus in the evening. Press! Yes, I think that may be sometime after 10, wasn't it? Oh, yes, sir. That's right, sir. Yes, ever so cold it was, sir. Freezing, in fact. And you had 4 passengers on board at the time, is that correct? Yes, that's right, sir, but all traveling in the same parts of the bus, of course. Oh, no.
Excuse me!
Excuse me. If I may, Mr. Fairplay? What are you fossicking for now? Fossicking. That last statement appears to have given you pause of thought. Not really. By the way, you always seem to be looking to your side, one way or another. Do you have some affliction? Not really. Is he posing to be on a coin someday? He's not really willing to say anything, it seems. It's none of your business, anyhow. No.
Hold it!
I couldn't resist. I had to do at least one thing. Okay, it's a yes, sir, and then freezing, in fact. 4 passengers, yes, sir, and it's a no. And there were no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for example. Oh, you're quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that. No, none. So nobody fled the scene of the crime, then. I have to say the boss insists on it running. He does every evening. That last bus of the day. But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, so sorry to say. What do you mean by that? Well, what with it being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pence on the run, you see. Yes, I spend that much at the pub on the way home, just trying to warm up again. Ah, he's cold.
Hold it!
And you saw them through the skylight in the roof of the carriage? That's right. When you sit up on the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. Swoop. There was a lamp from inside, so it was pretty good view. So he's saying that they were both sitting on the same side. The two of them were wearing hats. I couldn't exactly make out their faces. There's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded. That... But the gloves are different, if this is what he's remembering. How can you be so sure? Well, how can I put it politely? McGilded is a gentleman of rather small stature. I shouldn't have been mistaken. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else, because nobody else is small. Not the guy next to you, for one. Let's not forget that the vehicle came to a halt. The only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. Gilded. He's dead? When did you guys kill Mr. Gilded? We just started the trial. There's no room for doubt here. I really wish there was. Then out of the blue, the accused reached over and plunged a knife into his guts. You actually saw the exact moment it happened. Didn't I already testify to that? Or are fair dinkum, hard-working city bankers not considered trustworthy these days? Sure. Oh, no. I didn't mean that. This is no good. Really got his back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you... My lord! What did he say? What was he saying? Hold on. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail, if that's... Okay. Juror number 3. What's the meaning of this? My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. Made up about what? I don't like this stinking rich. Never have. They're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be. Every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man, there it is no exception. Well, he can't fool me, Your Honor. It was Usopp's rubber knife. There's no point in wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway. He did it. He's got the white gloves. He's playing with a knife. Unless this is like a red herring situation, I feel like we're about to accuse a juror on our first trial. Hold it! That is precisely what I was about to say. As the foreman of the jury, it is my duty to set good example for my fellow jurors. What is happening here? You see, yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts. With fire? Apparently, yes. Oh, excuse me. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one, they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice, as we saw a moment ago. So, if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean... Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm even more worried than I was before. Very well, the court acknowledges the change in the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. This is a nightmare. Well, what about the rest of his...
Hold it!
Is that the rest of his accusation? Didn't I already testify to that? Blah, blah, blah. Fair dinkum in the cases. No, that's not what I meant. Oh, me? Well, yeah, shit. Hold on. Prosecutor, why don't you ask the young man next to me? Okay. I feel like we could have ended his the press on him before we got into the whole jury saying the rich must die. Not that I'm saying anything against that particularly, but you know what I mean. That's right. He stabbed him. I screamed. I did. I couldn't help it.
Hold it!
He stabbed him, you say? And you were sitting up in the roof deck, were you? Yes, right there. That's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I'd been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was just gazing absent-mindedly around. But then it happened. I looked down through the skylight. It was sticking right out of his belly. That huge, great knife. But you didn't see him do it. A grim sight indeed. That didn't help me at all. It surely looks like they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before. Appears to have made everyone even more dubious of Mr. McGilded as telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions. Mr. Faust? Oh, yes, sir? Is this the knife you saw? Ah, good grief, yes, that's it, the very one, sir. Is that... Yes, counsel. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly, like a stake through the heart. It is the blade of considerable size, counsel. It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned promptly with certain initials. The letter M. It seems oddly familiar. Because McGilded is the only person in the entirety of London whose name starts with M. Sure. Why not? Please no. M for Magnus, perhaps. Or McGilded, possibly. Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake. No! But there are M's everywhere. Like, yes! Like in Mason!
Objection!
This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. You don't know that. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused. Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, counsel. The murder weapon has been entered into the thing. The largest knife that was found lodged in the victim's abdomen. Its quality and fancy ornamentation suggests it is quite valuable. If you'll forgive me the interruption. Juror number 2, then. Go on. Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, for those of us in service, we must accept hard truths. God damn it. Wait, what are you about to do? Dispose of the rubbish. The jury shouldn't be putting in any kind of opinion until the end of the trial. No! I don't wish to cause offense, but I'd like to eradicate all trash and filth and grime. Holy shit, really? I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-reference all the facts. As such, I am now in position to draw the only logical conclusion. By God. It's truly Ace Attorney. The scales are never tipped in our favor. Again, that's 4 out of 6 jury members who have opposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. We've had it. Barely through the cross-examination. Don't ask what she thinks of poor people, right? Every time I press these witnesses for information, I just make the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need more than anything in this moment is more information. And we're still very much in the dark. I suppose I'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that there's more sparks may well fly. Let's give up hope that we'll uncover something that will give us a way to fight back. I think the thing that I don't like about this is the fact that we keep getting 2 jury members that say, oh, he's guilty. Every single time that we've done a press, at least for the last 2, it feels annoying. Like, maybe if it was just 1 each time, I wouldn't feel so annoyed by it. But it feels like if I press again and then they make their decision again, oh, all of a sudden we've got 2 more fireballs in the guilty verdict and I lose. So I know that's not going to be what happens. It's just how it feels. But all right, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again. Let me fight the jury. Let me get up there. I want to beat them up. So we just got the knife. That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Hmm? Oh, sorry, yes. I just don't really like blades. Oh. Those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung over his waist. It's not that blade. That's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. There's the big old monogrammed M. An ornate letter M. Undeniably Mr. Magnus McGilded's initials. It's beautifully gilded, too. It must be very valuable, I would think. Ah! What is it? Look at the M. Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W! If we turn it over, it changes it to Wumbo. That would change everything. W. Yes, this is one of those, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. I'm afraid I don't know at all, but what I'm sure of is that this is an M. Oh, well, that was the idea was quickly quashed. So, this doesn't look like a blade that was stabbed all the way inside of someone. Oh, Harodo. Genius. That looks like blood. It's surely blood. The victims. An Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. Did you think it wouldn't? Sorry. It's just that we're only just arriving here in Great Britain, and I'm finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand. It's a key! You see, if I twist it this way, it looks like a key. Is that it? Is that really all there is to this? Just blood and a knife and an M monogram? Jesus. Alright. No! Was there more on the knife? Because I wiggled my little cursor all over it and I didn't find nothing. Oh, you hate that you got the knife key joke. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and that's when I saw it.
Hold it!
Oh, fuck. Hey, Robbie, are you still here? Can you ban the bot, please? Why is... Oh, Nightbot's not catching them because they're not making links. That's why. There's a knife and a key, and also a knife and a knife and a knife, which is also a key and a key. And if I turn it this way, it looks like a key. I don't know if Robbie's here. There we go. Bot gone. What exactly did you see? Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsed on the floor he was. And by the passenger, obviously, you were referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. And then the other passenger had a knife in his hand, like this! By the other passenger, you obviously are referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilden. And then he plunged it down, like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly. What? Yep. Gesture number 5. How do you wish to jump to conclusions? Do I take it you too? Yes, Master London God, Guild of Coachmen. The idea of the murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. And yet, here we are. But I've heard enough now. The horse has bolted, as they say. No, please, just keep her... Giddy up, Silver Blaze! Finish this in sight. Beppo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir. Here we go, yep. This is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors have agreed to condemn this man. Alright, trial's over. Game done. Madam Juror number 6. Yes, dear. What can I do for you? You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand. Oh yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know. And pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning? Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park there just where I live. McGilded Park, it's called. The gentleman donated to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life. He's always doing wonderful things for the city. That's right. A man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely. Mother, may we go to McGilded Park Library later, and public library, and borrow some more books? How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know what kind of man Magnus McDungus really is? What kind of man is he? The philanthropist Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all the wealth come from? Your client is a sly lock, sir, and one that is of the darkest of souls. What? Stone the Crows! McGilded lends money to extortionate rates of interest so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He is a vulture that preys on the weak. I've never heard any mention of that before. Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? I had been thinking about that, I'm not gonna lie. What possible reason could this man have to make use of a public omnibus service? You're not saying that. The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor was the accused, Magnus McGilded. I keep wanting to say McDungus, and I don't know why. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed, the final payment date for his debts. Good gracious! The brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house, and he had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. In the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him: his life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded. But why? Okay, so you're saying that the only reason he killed him was because he was on the last day of his debts, and the only thing that was left to take was the fact that the guy had a fucking life. Roloff's talking mad shit about this man without proof. Right. Like, you're making this assumption, but wouldn't it have been better to just let him default and then just extort him some other way? Be like, hey, alright, fine. So you can't pay me back, so now you work for me. And you'll pay me back by working for me because I know that you're one of the best brick craftsmen in the entire fucking city. What would be what's his motive for killing the man? I don't believe it. If I might add something briefly, Mr. Sato? You claimed that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded. Anything would have been better than killing him, right? Especially when you know that the guy was indebted to that people knew the guy was indebted to him. That's just an extra bit of, like, it's stupid. But where's the evidence to support your claim? I can't believe we're calling on... Is that a bottle of... Where'd that come from? Oh, okay, it's part of his bit. So Sato with the real shit. Yeah! Vampire. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in the court of law. Aha! There it is! Lord Von Ziek's hallowed chalice! How can it be considered acceptable? I find myself in an unexpectedly good mood. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself. She's 16. As a judicial assistant to the defense, I'm simply doing my job. What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is... God, this is the debtor's ledger, which detailed all monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded. Oh. Okay, it's clearly recorded inside. Therefore, again, he's not hitting on her. I hope so. Because again, she's 16. Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. Vaughn, my guy, present this shit first. Ace Attorney. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in toast to the enigmatic East at the same time. A marvelous toast, counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence. The debtor's ledger. Catalog of people who had borrowed money from the defendant at a high rate of interest. It includes the victim who's owed 20 guineas. Ah, yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum. His portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London gentry. Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside? Well, it's not as though we owe any London gentries personally, is it? How much is 20 guineas? No fucking clue. Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder. I assure you will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside. Well, let's see what we find. I can't read a damn word of this. It's all in cursive. I can't read cursive. Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it? Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off. Ah, goodness! What is it? Look at this! Do you see the name here? Bruce Fairplay. Fucking knew it. I knew one of the witnesses would be in this fucking book. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually. Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at the very moment. Oh, yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? Ah, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching. Ah! Come here! I got 20 guineas on it. No! Thank you for the resub. 14 months. Appreciate it. Enjoy the emotes continuing forward. Ah, look at the repayment date. It's fast approaching. It's possible that it's just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information. No. Bruce Fairplay wouldn't have killed a man who also owed money because he knew his debt was coming up and also knew that his own debt was kind of coming up. Right? That would never be a thing. Details of the debtor's ledger have been updated. Among the defendant's lists of debtors is Bruce Fairplay, who would have been due to repay his loan imminently. Nothing on the back. Is there... I'm assuming that's all the information we're going to get out of this, right? Yeah. And the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense. Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes. Yes, but not the way you think. Regrettably, madam, it is the modest opportunity of the accused. Okay, I'm fully back headed to spread the news of the new tactics of the bad bots. All right. She's angie knitting. It's a new practice. Such a pretty little park, too. But a scoundrel. Still. Maybe it's all for the best. Wait a minute! I don't stand for nonsense. Alright, cool. First court case and we're done, baby. That was fast. That was it. That was the last juror's decision. She's got her book of knowledge. According to the Encyclopedia of British Law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. And that's what it says here. The final verdict. It's over then. Oh! There is a footnote, though. A footnote? However, the defense... All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case. Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision. They did it before SOJ. Surely this can't be the end. What? Are you talking about the, Are you talking about the jury thing? Yeah, but, like, the jury thing, they held their verdict to the end of the trial. Like... the case. Yeah. And they also only did it for one case and then never did it again because it was like Shutakumi's way of trying to end everything, but Ace Attorney continued without him. According to the law of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections. Mr. Sato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes? You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your Encyclopedia in British Law. However, the defense... What did it say next? Oh, yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, blah, 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 and then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point. Ooh. The losing thing. Oh, yeah, that happens in a couple of them. A summation examination?
Objection!
A summation examination? From which century is that tome that you've been resurrected? Judging from the bindings, it would say that the book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text in British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten and certainly no longer practiced. Meaning that it was too inconvenient for the prosecution, so they got rid of it, huh? You're out of luck. Oh. What even is it, Mr. Sato? This so-called summation examination. Oh, one moment, and I'll read about it. You would demand the right to a procedure before you even understand what it entails? Well, you kind of fucking swayed the jury entirely in a way that ends the case immediately, and therefore we couldn't do anything else. So, you know, we're gonna take what we can get. Typical Nipponese. Fuck off. Alright, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury to do what exactly? Appeal to them to change their leaning and reverse their decisions. And it says here that, if successful, the proceeding of the trial must be resumed. Make them reverse their decisions. Yes, in times gone by, a barrister would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. That procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really. So it rather fell out of use. Sure. I wonder why. Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age. I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruto? Summation examination. Our last possible option. We must assert our right to carry it out and admit defeat. Assert our right! Yeah! The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord.
Objection!
No! London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
But it's our right. But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital to this trial. The defense's pension is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with a summation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? Well, I'm not, there's no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so... All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision. On what grounds? I just wanted to see a man killed. That's all I cared about. I wanted to watch him hang. You must all justify your decision and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you're right putting us on the spot. This is most irregular. Not to mention, was made on this before. I don't really hold with all the justifying lark. And it seems to have thrown the jurors off. Seems none of them have experienced this before. Alright then, the summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for. To turn this trial around! Shit's been caught because they've been swayed by emotion and not the facts. Yep. So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant Magnus McGilded guilty of the most serious crime. Judicial findings. So that means that we're going to be doing this every single case from this point. Got it. It's got a little squash and stretch sound. It's really good. He do a little sniff on it. Anyway, there's no one else inside the carriage. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. He stuck the Chad next to him with him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. I'm simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion. You can trust the guild. Fair fares are our motto, and we haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years. The scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor, a beggar's belief. On the floor? I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now. Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. To throw anything I can at them and use some very persuasive language. Just a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? I thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then, they've reached their conclusion by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. Then what on earth am I supposed to do? Oh dear, I'm just citing what I read about British law, Mr. Naruto. I'm sorry, but do you have any idea how to make this work then? Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments. What do you mean? Well, the six members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in a courtroom together. And that's the way to break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. Oh. You must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if you can identify any contradictory statement. If we can, we then contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other. I see. So it's contradictions in what two or more jurors say that we're looking for. In a way, then, this is similar to a regular cross-examination. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. Find contradiction in their statements and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Alright, I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. Double slap! I have to pull this off! We can start proceedings, counsel. Now I would ask that you take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal. Yes, my lord. Oh. Oh. Frank versus Puffing Tom equals I want is better than I want to live. I think they're equal. And they're from the same thing, which makes them great. Oh no, my badges! Alright, hold on. There's no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. Okay, so I've got pit as a thing now. Certainly the testimonies we've heard suggest the victim and Mr. McGilded were alone in the carriage. Precisely my point. But could there have been some other explanation, something we haven't considered yet? Such as... well, perhaps that's something we could all work together on now. Now listen here, maybe you don't know how things work around here because you're from foreign climes. But we're here to form our opinions as individuals, and I have. Oh dear, he doesn't appear to be in the mood to consider an alternative point of view, does he? No, I imagine... no, I'm going to have to pit the jurors against one another, like Susato-san said. Finding contradictions in these 6 people's assertions, the only way that I'm going to succeed. Trust the driver, he has an excellent memory, and it seems that the 4 passengers, the fares totaling 20 pence.
Hold it!
His ability to recall his takings that night really tell us how trustworthy the man is. I manage all of his lordship's cash affairs, so I'm very particular when it comes to accounts. I see. A single penny can mean the difference between life and death, after all, can't it? That's a saying in your country? My point is, a man who minds his figures is a man you can trust. Those of us in service would swear to that, sir. Does that bench really need to be more polished? So if the good driver says that he saw Mr. McGilded in the act, I don't doubt him. The only task left to do today is disposing of the rubbish. Now wait a minute. One of the other jurors mentioned something about money, I think. And now would be a very good time to listen carefully to the jurors' statements again. If you notice an inconsistency in what two different jurors are saying, I should expose it by pitting them against each other. Yes, let's see if I can do just that. So it's her against the guy who... against this dude. You can trust the guild. Fair fares are our motto. We haven't raised our prices above 4 pence for years. I like how he starts to do his little thing, but then I can, like, stop him. I trust the driver. He's an excellent memory and seems the 4 passengers totaling 20 pence. Okay, I see. Alright. If it's only 4 pence per person, then that shouldn't be 20 pence. It should be 16. So there was a 5th person that was on the omnibus. But I want to hear everybody else.
Hold it!
Careful, you can hurt somebody with that. Tisk. You're a fine one to talk. What's that sword hanging from your waist, hmm? No, it's just my battered soul. Well, anyway, I despise anyone with too much money. They're all the same, all stabbing some brickmaster or other behind the scene. You mark my words. It seems very unlikely, doesn't it? Are you mad, man? We know that small shorty is a rotten Shylock. Well, yes, that does seem to be the case, but... Mr. Naruto, please, be careful what you say. If you have been trying to squeeze money out of us less fortunate, then as far as I'm concerned... He's guilty as sin. The man can hang. I love that it got stuck. That's good. Come to think of it, didn't one of the other jurors say something about the defendant's underhanded activities? If you thought of something, Mr. Naruto, don't let it go. Test your theory. Pit the 2 defenders whose statements seem to be contradictory against each other. Okay, so it's not like just one person has, like, this thing. It's multiple. Alright. Well, then in that case, I'm gonna press him, and then I'm gonna pit him up against the maid.
Hold it!
That's how much it costs to take the omnibus. That's right. As Guildmaster, I decided to set a policy for all drivers across the city. 1 fare, no matter which bus you take or how far you're going. That's bad. That's bad for the people driving. You have to compete with the rise of the motor car, you see. As coachmen have to make a stand together. Oh, us. Motor cars, you say? Yes, and this murder is one of our, and this murderer is one of our buses, and this murder on one of our buses is extremely damaging to our cause. It's beyond the pale. It'll lead to the decline of passengers, you mark my words, and that's all that rascal's fault. He has to pay. Is it the crime or his buses that he's more worried about? Anyway, every member of my guild is reliable and trustworthy. So if the driver says that he saw him do it, that fellow in the dock is as guilty as sin. Scoundrel stabbing. So yeah, hers is about stabbing, but... So...
Objection!
These 2 statements clearly contradict each other. They do? Explain yourself, counsel. Me? Oh dear, what have I said? I swear on Silver Blaze's main name that I haven't the first idea what you're talking about. According to the... Oh, he's pacing! According to the group testimony that we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right. I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me. Can we hire you as, like, the court stenographer? Just in case, you know? Like, after you're done with this whole jury thing, do you want a job? and juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence. That it is. A fair and convenient single price, just the way London carriages should be operated. But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts. Why, man? Why? 4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication... that would be 16 pence! Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact, or precisely 1 person's fare. It's old bag in disguise. No! No, it's not. You shut your dirty mouth. She's not alive yet. I know she's ancient, but not that ancient. 1 person's fare? Yes. In other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible that there was another passenger that we've heard nothing about. Good gracious! This can't be right. She'd probably be taking payout as a court stenographer, as she's in international communications manager. No, old Beck and the judge are immortal. I don't believe you. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword. Figures that your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy. I beg your pardon? Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he let nefarious characters ride his omnibus. Oh! Alright then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end, Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire onto the innocent side of the set of scales. Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo! That's good. That's funny. This is all very irritating. Begging your pardon, sir. I am going to do the same. For the love of Mike, not you as well. A penny that can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. Simple, really. Shoot the fucking fireball! I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters. Oh, really? I, for one, think that it only proper we hear from the witnesses again. Beppo is homeless after this trial. No! Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. You did it! If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue. 2 more. Actually, there is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. Then you must strike next. So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and that shows another contradiction of their assertion. Exactly. You can do it. Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they are still way heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination. Wait a fucking minute. Wait. Did you miss an A? His text was on his head? What? How did she read his mind? Oh, that just happens in these games. So, I'm changing the lead. Oh, okay, cool. So his was, stuck the chap next to him, just like this. Brazen, I must say, absolutely brazen. And she's claiming that, stabbing the poor man on the floor. I want to hear what she has to say first, then I'm going to pit them against each other. I really think you should stop waving the needle around. You heard what the good coachman said before, didn't you? A hideous man stabbed the poor fellow, just like this. Yes, that's what he said, you're right. McGilded Park is such a lovely little place, too. I've always enjoyed resting my legs there while I get on with my knitting. And I had thought that anyone who donates such a delightful place must be a fine fellow indeed. I suppose I was wrong. Whoever would have thought that he was a miserable, murdering moneylender with not a scrap of remorse? Oh, help. She's as sure as she can be that he's guilty now. The old lady certainly seems to know her mind, doesn't she? So, we just need to find 2 more jurors with contradictory statements and pit them against each other. Those are wooden needles, so if they aren't breaking, that must be making a dent in the wood. Yeah? Which is much easier said than done. Is that perhaps what you were just thinking? How did you know? Well, I took the liberty of doing some research in case you happen to find yourself in just a situation. Shall I read what I found out? It's a little long, I'm afraid. No. To rely on the advice right from the start, how will I get on later? No, I need to work this out for myself now. I just realized that's Susato talking. Is that perhaps what you were thinking? How did you know? Well, that sort of attitude is most admirable, Mr. Naruto. I know what I have to do. I have to listen to the assertions one more time. No, I already know.
Objection!
Oh, that was almost dangerous. Those 2 statements are completely contradictory. What? Explain, counsel. Post haste! Oh, dearie me. I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. That's a small jumper. How small is he? He better be old. What is all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I must ask you? We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3... What? Can't you see that I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it? Want me to test you, do? Test me, do you? It was like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. Just like a prime banker said. The prime baker said. Yes, that is Mr. Fairplay's testimony. Quite true. Now then, juror number 6. Oh, is it me? Is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam? Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so. Now, don't move. Take a look at these two jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. I would smack that man if I was the typewriter lady. He's so close to stabbing my arm. Yeah. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions. What? Oh, bless my stitches. What a muddle. What this tells us is that there is a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. Oh. But why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet. But what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience? Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide by people lying. Lies in my courtroom? Never! The scales. I don't believe it. Hold it! Wait! Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him. He's in black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all. If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this? Damn right. Answer me now, Doc Jinx. Oh no. Huh? Me? What exactly is the problem? What of it if the two witnesses have slightly different recollections of these events? What of it? Let's say the Psylocke did stab the victim as he sat next to him in the omnibus, and this young dandy man saw him do it. Now let's say the victim collapsed to the floor, and then Shylock stabbed him again, and this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that, Who are you calling dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you. Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you. They're ready to kill each other now. I like how he lifts his badge because it's not meant for his arm. He only had one stab wound. That is the answer. But could the foreman of the jury be right? Did the two witnesses see two different moments? It's out of the question. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman. Oh, what is it, Doc Jinx? Come on, out with it. What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question. What are you talking about, man? How can you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? What do we want to see? What do we want to see? I say two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. If you say that's out of the question, show me proof. And looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present something that he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence, as you wish. What? I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that two witnesses saw the two different moments of the same crime proven by... the cause of hemorrhage as a result of a single stab wound.
Take that!
He'd been stabbed once. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen. Only once. Only once? If you had been paying attention to the fucking proceedings, instead of just trying to say a man's guilty so you can get out of here, then, you know, hey. It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen two different times. Alright, I can see defeat. Oh. What? Why didn't the pipe fall? Why didn't it work? Wait a minute, that means... 4 judges are now leaning to not guilty. Oh, it didn't work. It should have worked. Hold on. Now I have to test something. That also didn't work. What's going on with tits? That's working. Because it's not authenticated for some reason. Why did it get de-authenticated? What? There we go. It's working. Thanks, kiddo. And just for that, you get an ad in 1 minute. We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won! Kinda! No! What are you playing at, you dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me. We had a consensus. I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. Is that Sweeney Todd? What's Sweeney Todd doing here? I'm not gonna lie, my perception for you was about the same, but for some reason I thought you'd be blonde. I was when I was a baby, if that helps. Please tell me he's a barber. Well, in quite a remarkable turn of events, the defense summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to abdicate. The trial must continue. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places, and I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. So, Lord Von Zeeks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please. Hold on, I need my blood. He's gonna throw it, isn't he? Oh, okay. That's just as much fun. Having savored the rich aroma of the Kremen contents of that hallowed chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Von Zeek. Is it cold in here? Is it just me? As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination. Good. Thank God. So I honored the deathly silence and listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. He outright calls it wine. Yeah. Well, no matter. A lot of babies are born blonde and then have their hair go darker as they go older. Yep. It's just a thing that happens in us white folk. There's something so hard to prove as self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we grace this courtroom with presence after all? He has several cases hid in hid office. About a third of the way through. Oh, for the trial? Okay. I gotta stop at about 4:30 my time. But yeah, we can keep going. So let us proceed with the next round of battle. He took off him cape! Bring forth the witnesses once more. Cask's in his office. Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination that we just had to endure. Oh yes, sir. That I did, sir. Of course, I heard it. Oh, yes, sir. I heard it. You, sir, on the end, the coachman. Believe it's Beppo. Yes, sir, my lord. Yes, sir. If it transpires that in your previous testimony you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you'll be found guilty of perjury, and you are advised to bear that in mind, sir. That is the second time perjury has been ever said in this game. I almost believe that it'll happen. It won't, but I almost believe it. Oh mio Dio. What time is it for me right now? It is almost 2:30. It's 2:29 or 2:19. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call for you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination. Oh, back. Various misgivings. I only carried 4 passengers that night, I swear it, but, well, I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. He fiddled us on the fare, he did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much! I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands. Oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes. So, as it turns out, he was fleecing them, maybe. Character is arrested for perjury in this game. Don't tell me that. I don't want to know until I see it happen. No future sight. No future sight. I didn't tell my psychic Pokemon to use future sight. Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom 5th passenger conjured into evidence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. Confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little concierge. Beppo, explain yourself. I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The guild's fare is 4 pences across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare? It's so cold. And then the last run of the day is always half empty. Ah, shit. You've been dishonest, coachman. I'm so sorry. Oh, a disgrace, Beppo, a disgrace! Your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild. If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week. Or 10 pence. What? 4 passengers at 5 pence each. Yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, and I just can't make a result to come out differently. No, that figures. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings have been explained. So, Counsel of Defense, your cross-examination, if you please. Already had the pleasure of protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely. I don't know what I'm doing. Only carry 4 passengers. Wrong button.
Hold it!
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. No! So there were only 4 passengers on your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence fee. Is that right? It's impossible to make the last run of the day pay. I was so cold. It was all I could do to stop myself passing out. I'm getting chilblains just listening to you. It was terrible. So I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Doesn't it dictate coachmans deserve an extra penny per passenger? Believe it or not, actually greatly improves the case. Oh, I believe it. Recommend stopping at the next continue. Okay. Well, I mean, that works for me. I don't know how long it's going to be until the next continue anyway. You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. If only there had been a 5th passenger on the omnibus that night. TNA fan I seen? I don't know. And that would be another... we'd have another suspect. I still think somebody could have hidden in the carriage. Now, I, for one, was told that I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
Hold it!
Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4? Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir. I just told you that I did. A flat fare of 5 pence across the board. Yeah, it's not something to be proud of. So-called discrepancy that my learned friends identified was nothing of the sort. It is a discrepancy, because he did lie to us. Much like the phantom killer you've desperately needed is gone, dead and buried. I've been happy if it had existed in the first place. I don't know what that means. Anyway, I filled us on the ferry, did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. This blood-curdling sight, you mean the murderer, I presume? Yes, sir. A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror of a man, horror in the eyes of a man the moment he has taken his life. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed. Good gracious! Really? We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. But Mr. Forrest didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. And may turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker gent next to me take a sharp intake of breath, see? And that's when I looked around, through the glass. And that's when I saw the horrible blade poking out of his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see the knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. Every time I see a knife now. I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Hold it!
So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbed the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him? That's what I said, isn't it? It was bothering me before. It was just a brief moment he hesitated before answering the question. Anyway, there was only the two of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There's been much talk of a fifth passenger, but as of yet, zero evidence. Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty. Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was. Me too. Oh, yes, he stabbed him. He did. I think so.
Hold it!
You what? Earlier, you testified you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip. I suppose I might have, you know, yes, put the cart before the horses, maybe. What's this? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horse when I heard a scream from the seats in the roof deck. Well, I expect that was me, sir. And then when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking out of his midriff. That's right, yes. The fellow holding the handle was the famous man, yes. So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all. I really thought that I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no. I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing.
Truth!
Did I? Sorry, I just need a moment, okay? I'm appreciating the animation. Anyway, you were saying? In fact, now that I come to think of it, it must have already happened when I heard the scream. Wah! Of course. It goes without saying. But I really wish he had said it earlier. The autopsy report makes it clear that the victim was stabbed only once, which means The banker was witness to the fatal wound that ended Mr. Mason's life. I think that dude in the top hat did it. Yeah, well, we have other evidence that he may be the one who did it, considering he's also on Mr. Mengus's Mr. McDonald's ledger of people who owe him money. Somehow we've managed to keep our chances alive here. I can't waste a cross-examination. I have to use it to bring some new facts to light. If you're not careful when you press these witnesses, the danger is the jury will end up believing something unhelpful, as they did before. Maybe, but we can't let the fear of what's happening, stop us from uncovering important information. Yes, you're so right. I need to pay careful attention here. I don't want to miss even a flicker of a reaction among these witnesses. Remember, if you happen to spot one witness reacting in a strange way, don't hesitate to pursue them as to the reason. Yep, I just wanted to finish his last statement, that's all. Ah, shit! They all have top hats. It was the man in the top hat, I say. Which one? I'm pretty sure Charlotte was referring to the banker. At least I hope. Alright, let's try that again.
Hold it!
The one in all black. Yeah, the banker.
Struth!
Which button is it to pursue?
Excuse me!
Excuse me! Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay? Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. He didn't really see the exact moment that fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh? Eh? Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment of the crime was committed? Could have did it himself. It's a little hard to believe, certainly, unless you spend your time peeping through skylights on the top of an omnibus, that is. Peeping? I am a respectable city banker, I have you know. I know what you saw, what I saw. I remember it as clear as the Billrat Day. A Billrat Day? A Ballrat Day, whatever. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me for getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask that you supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that, all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. It was very grim. So grim. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after the butcher stabbed the man? I meant to press that. There's a clear end. Somehow we've managed to keep the chances alive. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't mean to push spacebar. I wanted to press his statement. Now I have to get back there again.
Hold it!
There we go. He was gloved. I did say blood-soaked gloves. Blood-soaked? Ahem, well, perhaps soaked is laying it on a little thick, but... But anyway, there is definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Oh yeah? Both? And you saw that from the roof, through the skylight? Well, this skylight's reasonably large, and I had a pretty good view. And there was a lamp on the side of the carriage that I saw, so I'm quite sure of what I saw. He said blood-soaked hands. Baker's last statement. I feel sure that something's not quite right. I feel like something doesn't add up, Mr. Naruhodo. That's when you should go look through the court record. I already have my idea. Oh, God! Jury will do the thing, and we'll do the thing, and we'll do the thing. Yeah, I know. Does he say hands? He does say hands. Doesn't really change what needs to be presented.
Objection!
Objection. Blood-soaked hands. Well, I admit that soaked may be laying it on a little thick, but... But anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little particular. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question. Oh, yes, right. And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there. But, as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove. He's trying to eat his cane. It's the murder weapon. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. Gog! But no! That can't be right! So you're the liar here, then? That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said, yeah, it was both hands. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands, it was only one, but the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated he saw blood all over both hands, which means that there is a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court. Why? I'm the city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Understanding members of society don't provocate. Provocate. He's claiming to have no reason to lie. But is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it would turn the tide of the trial completely. Hey, guess what we got? Something to show the man was compelling the reason to lie in his testimony. I have evidence! I have it! My lord? Yeah, here's counsel. The defense is ready to present evidence. By Jove, are you sure? Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony. Yarr! Yarr! Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present this evidence. Evidence that demonstrates the motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court. Take that!
Take that!
This is a list of debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused's exhortation. And the point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Damn! What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worth it being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas, and not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say? Well, what of it? Let's suppose Mr. McGilden were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case? These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled, and they would cease to exist. Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have been something you've never in fact saw? In a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? I really wish he would actually eat the thing. Like, his full breakdown is him actually eating his fucking walking stick. Would be amazing. Order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes. My lord. Let me ask you again. And be aware that your answer may be have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Theotia. Did you, or did you not, see the precise moment in time in which the defendant is alleged to have thrust the knife in the victim? Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony. All right, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth in a pinch. A pinch? But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood in McGill's hands, both of them. And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained. God, that's what you keep saying. I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir? Go ahead, Mr. Faust. Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I think I'm almost sure that it was both of his hands, not just one. What? What? We got ourselves a conundrum. It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all of you witnesses. This time I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yes. Mr. Naruto, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Yes! I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. Maybe. What they really saw! There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. Also, with the bloodstains on that glove suggests that the person was actually trying to stop the bleeding because, one, you don't remove the object, two, you should apply pressure around it to keep the object steady and have it to move. Yeah, basically, I think that's what he was doing. He was trying to stop the bleeding. And maybe he initially had his gloves on, but then took them off. Shut up. Shut up, Raph, right now. Now, there was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired. If that matters. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything myself, no. Not until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains. There can't be anyone else inside the carriage, or we would have seen it. That's basically what he claimed earlier? Yeah. Well, lo and behold, in truth, in fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment of the crime that was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible at the seat, contributing to the witness's account. Fresh blood? In other words, there is no substantial nor insignificant change to the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. Hold on. For one, I would like to point out that they have, in fact, color pictures here. That's pretty impressive. I still want to know what's up with that button. The missing button. This missing button is going to be important. This one. No one right there. Yes, my lord. I shall press the witnesses. I will just squeeze the truth out of them yet. Even if I have to make my own hole and squeeze it out. There is blood on both hands. I don't think it is. Wait, hold on, Raph. Which part of it? No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night of the occasion in the court record. I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, to point out the blood stain on the seat wouldn't have been there by how the body was found. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's like, this feels weird, but we'll need to see if it ever comes up. The button? You never know. Well, you probably know, but don't tell me. Why am I out of focus? Hello? Why am I out of focus? Whoop. He's defiant even in the face of the hard bank. Fuck. Hold on, I need to fix my camera. There we go. Ghost fuck with my camera, or I gotten too close to it. One of the two. Okay. He's defiant even in the face of hard evidence. What did he say? Because I didn't get to read it. I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both of his hands. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken about what he saw, but why? No reasoning is dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily onto the accused's fingers. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment of the stabbing. Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as well you know. But crying out loud, we all know that no one else could have possibly done it. I was just trying to save us all some time. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? You had hoped to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty. Well, it's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the Derby, that's all. I was going to win it all back. That's a fixture this weekend, and it's a sure thing. Oh, so he's a gambling addict. Ha, a little guinea or 10. I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. From the bank? I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not on trial here. His scruples, Your Honor, are not on trial. Proceed to the next witness. Is that really how it's supposed to work? Bro basically just admitted to stealing from the bank to fix his gambling habit.
Hold it!
I gotta say, doing a little better than normal. I'm 3 hours in, my throat's only just starting to go. So that's fun. I definitely saw that. Oh, you definitely saw that too. Blood on both hands? Yes, sir. I mean, I know that, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGilded's gloves has any sign of blood on it. That's right. And the thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGild sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. His skittles are not of this world's... What? He wasn't wearing these gloves? That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both hands on his bare hands, quite clearly. That's true. The dark-colored stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see... Hold on. Okay, no. I knew I checked. I just wanted to be sure. Would have been easy to see. I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilded's gloved hands. There wasn't blood on his hands. This is a puzzle indeed. This must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it. Add it to your testimony.
Hold it!
I didn't see shit, Your Honor. You didn't see anything? Oh, yes, sir. That is to say, no, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about that. About what I said before, sir. Yes, sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories. Thank you for the sense of being. I say I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir? I know you're not what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it? No, sir, I saw nothing at all. Mr. Beppo, you were driving the horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets. Rinosuke! Not right now! Oh, please. You didn't even see that? It was so cold that night, you see. Oh no, I thought he was doing a bit! The stream is tagged by. It is. Because I am bi. What, you thought I was making the gay jokes because I just thought they were gay? No, Cosmo is fucking hot. What are you talking about? Like, yeah. So cold. What a game to be bi for. Ain't it the truth? Ain't it the truth? Too bad the only female we've seen so far has been underaged. The only females we've seen so far. I don't remember the college student's age. But everybody else, all the women we've seen so far are unfortunately 15 or 16. So, you know, can't really look at them with a discerning eye. It was so cold that night, you see, and it was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid, I'm sorry to say, sir. Like, he's hot too, he's just racist. And it would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold weather nights. Beppo! Ow!
Hold it!
And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus? That's right, it was fiercely cold that night. But the glass wasn't frosted over. Ah, no, the tentacles! Oh, yes, I remember, I was shivering. Oh, I did get BTTV added to the YouTube chat, too, so... Well, you don't have, like, my personal emotes, you got whatever I have for BTTV emotes. So, there's that for the YouTube side. I plan on adding a couple more to BTTV, especially, just so that way everybody has stuff to use. Oh, yes, I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter. Also, why does the boss of one of the witnesses be on the jury? I think it was just random selection, kind of like our own. Yeah! Lurker. Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Now, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh, why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. That's some important information right there. It's a running gag? Yeah. Well, in the confines of the story, he was served jury duty, and he just happened to be on here, and they didn't go like, hey, do you know anybody in the witnesses? Do you know anybody in the thing? Because there's no any kind of like pre-setup for any court system in this universe at all, ever. I don't know that one. Whose moat is that? I don't know that moat. Pew pew pew. I guess it's just a global emote. It was locked? That's right at the public bus services, for a pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play. Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below. Well, I assure you I wasn't looking down, I was glaring long and hard. I'm a fire in my laser. Blah. That's precisely why I can tell you that, with absolute confidence, that if there was anyone else in the cabin, I would have noticed. Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure that, about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? See, this is mine, but I know that they're gonna ask for evidence. They're gonna ask for me to prove it. Prove it. Yeah. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding in this omnibus and witnessed the events of the cabin through the skylight on the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right, yes. In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior you would have been out of your sight from here. What? But golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure, but the possibility cannot be denied. At that time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you supplement your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area of the cross-section plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated? Here. Here. Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of the travel, whereas the seats of the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylights, is as I've drawn here. Ah! Who gave this boy a protractor? And a ruler. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite of the one in which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Yarr!
Objection!
No! It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. Actually, yeah. You Nipanese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you are able to put a name to this mysterious passenger of whom you allude. Can you, Mr. Naruhodo? I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight of the witness stock? Hold on. What? I wasn't expecting this. It was stronger! He was in the driver's seat. He could have hidden in the seat thing where the bags were. That's where I was thinking. Like when things came to a stop, they could have slipped out. But so we know these three were on the roof. These two were in the cabin. They didn't properly identify that Magnus was the one sitting next to Mason. They just said, oh, he looked short, so therefore it was Mason. Raph, for real, please let me figure things out. I'll make sure to ask for help if I need it. But that is where I was already leaning, so I'll give you a pass. But please, I will ask for help. I promise. I'm gonna save just in case. The other tags on the stream are also no spoilers, so just remember that. Gotta have a cheeky save. Understand, sir. The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. That response is a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learned. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seats. This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn this trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, this person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that obscured from view was...
Take that!
The music stopped. I'm safe. The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witness on the roof deck failed to see has to be Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant. It is.
Objection!
Here we go. Oh! Don't do that! You're gonna set the whole place on fire! If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks! People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East of having learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms ill-advisory. Here comes the full racism. What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. Yeah, he's a little less hot now. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact it's the very premise on which the case is built.
Objection!
He better. If he doesn't get less racist by the end of this game, I'm sorry. I just, I couldn't think of fucking him. But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way. What inconsistency, counsel? The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection!
Hate fucking is a thing. He wouldn't even be worth a hate fuck. I don't hate fuck racists. Sorry. Just doesn't happen. The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes, their testimony remains unchanged. Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. What? Again? I thought I fucking fixed this. What's going on, Twitch? Why is it not... Is it just because that I'm not actually, like, moving my... Okay, so, hey, here's how this is working. I have my VTuber model up, and it's just hidden. Like, I can show it to you. Hold on. Like... Oh, well, it's not even popping properly. Maybe that's the reason why. Is something happening with this? No, it's there. Nah, whatever. So you can do that. But for some reason it's disconnecting. Maybe it's because my model isn't being active, and that's the reason. I don't know. The victim's blood was on the passenger's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party? Obviously, the true culprit. Ah, extraordinary! Order! Order! Who exactly are you what exactly are you postulating? The defense's postulation is just that. Nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused. But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said, the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though. Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir. And what particular styles of hats were the two gentlemen sport, Mr. Faust? I'm afraid I don't remember. And you call yourself a hatter? The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would have undoubtedly have offered to dispose the fact. Unless, that is, you are proposing that even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of a third culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. Ah! Zeke says the best slam. He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it. Order! You'll see it. It's very clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused Mr. McGilded to the stand. Well, what do you say, counsel? Prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Mr. Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out that the man has been withholding information, you can be sure that it will have been the most deliberate act. Counsel of the defense, what is your opinion? My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? Demand his testimony! Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. Get the man out here, I say. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild. Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say. Oh yes, that would be lovely. Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well. The court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. You keep saying that. Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? To be sure I have, my lord. There are two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defense. And second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police? Begad, no! 'Tis not in my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the question, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell you all, or keep my mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded? The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. It's true? Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little cretin get away after it all happened. You... What?! So, you're admitting to abating a criminal? No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry, so I am, my Lord Six. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken by the police. I don't be having a good reason, I assure you. I love that little urchin. Now. Which it was. Well, that the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And not involved in any way, you see. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. Now they'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. The child is 17. God damn it. I can appreciate, women too. I want some women. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. You don't get to. She'll be 18 next game. That doesn't make it better for this game. And barely makes it better for the next game. And who was this young child of whom you speak? That I don't know. You don't know? Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. Never saw her before or since.
Objection!
You have absolutely no reason to believe this man. Prosecution calls for the witness's statement to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in the courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Bang! Ah! Smoke! Ah! Fire! There's a fire! I'm trying to get away! It's no use! Ah! I can't see anything! What's going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruto. Cover your face! Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. There's a few full-grown women later. I would hope so. I would really hope so. We were hurriedly removed. You know, I didn't think we would be getting to a courtroom bombing this soon. Usually it takes 3 games. 4 games. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Oh yeah, no, I was planning to. I have other stuff I need to get done. Amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber, we had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. It was game 5. Yeah, 4 games. We got through 4 games, and then when we got to the 5th game, there was a bomb. And it made Apollo go crazy and gave him a concussion. Concussed Apollo. Anyway, thank you everybody who came out today. I appreciate it. I'm happy that, you know, this kind of went well. I don't know how often I'll do it in the future, but, you know, we'll certainly see. But thank you. I'm going to go ahead and get us rated out on the Twitch side. Oh. It's a ad break. Oh, no. Damn you, ad. All right, we'll wait for the ad break to finish at least, and then we'll do the raid, so that way the people who aren't, you know, that way the people who are part of, are stuck in the ad can see it. Ads. But yeah, so absolutely, again, appreciate everybody who came out, and I'm glad that, you know, this is fine. Obviously, I need to figure out what's going on with my camera, what with the fact that the focus happened. But I plan to switch in between. I don't think I'll settle on either side at this point, just because I'll never be able to. Well, I won't say never. Upgrading my VTuber model is going to take money, and I ain't got that money, so we're not gonna do it. But yeah, I'm gonna continue stalling for another 2 minutes. I do plan to try to come back again tomorrow with some more in the morning. It'll be a much shorter time period, so hopefully we'll be able to get to a logical stopping period in the case, and continue from there. We've only got these 2 weeks until I will pretty much only be streaming Wilds, so yeah. Twitch gave you 5 ads? Jesus Christ. They must be quick ads, I hope, because it's only supposed to be 3 minutes. I wish I could just, like, stop it. Unfortunately, I can't. I can only dismiss the ad. What timing on that, though? You know what? In that capacity, what I'm gonna try to do is see. What's this? Let's share. I need to figure out how to raid on YouTube. I have no idea how to do it. It's something I'll have to look up. You only have a bit left of this case? Alright, cool. So, hopefully we'll be able to finish it, but with me reading everything, 3 hours kind of turns into a little bit longer. Almost done with the ad. Come on. I guess I'll start looking into who I'm going to raid now, since the ad is almost over. Who's doing stuff? Cheers live. So I think we'll raid into Chair. He's playing some Monster Hunter World with Mint, who's another good friend of mine. So that's what we'll raid into. Welcome back, Twitch side. For those who don't have their subscriptions, we're gonna be getting you over to Killer Chair, who's playing some Manhunt. He's doing some Manhunt World with Mint. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Anyway, thank you very much for everybody who came and hung out. I will see you guys tomorrow in the morning. Leda, goodbye. Get off of my ship. Get out of here.